Okay, let's read a little bit about vampires. This is from Wikipedia. Vampires are mythological or folkloric beings who subsist by feeding on the life essence, generally in the form of blood, of living creatures. Although typically described as undead, a vampire could be a living person. In folkloric tales, undead vampires often visit loved ones and caused mischief or deaths in the neighborhoods they inhabited when they were alive. They wore shrouds and were often described as bloated and of ruddy or dark countenance, markedly different from today's gaunt, pale vampire, which dates from the early 19th century. Although vampiric entities have been recorded in most cultures, the term vampire was not popularized until the early 18th century, after an influx of vampire superstition into Western Europe from areas where vampire legends were frequent, such as the Balkans and Eastern Europe. Although local variants were also known by different names, such as vampire in Serbia, Virkolokas in Greece, and Strigoi in Romania. This increased level of vampire superstition in Europe led to mass hysteria and in some cases resulted in corpses actually being staked and people being accused of vampirism. According to some sources, living vampires could be sorcerers or witches, such as some types of strigoi, or the result of a demonic contact, such as the Penaglian and Lugaru. In modern times, however, the vampire is generally held to be a fictitious entity, although belief in similar vampiric creatures, such as the chupacabra, still persists in some cultures. Early folkloric belief in vampires has been ascribed to the ignorance of the body's process of decomposition after death, and how people in pre-industrial societies tried to rationalize this, creating the figure of the vampire to explain the mysteries of death. Porphyria was also linked with legends of vampirism in the 20th century and received much media exposure, but this link has since been largely discredited. The charismatic and sophisticated vampire of modern fiction was born in 1819 with the publication of The Vampire by John Polidori. The story was highly successful and arguably the most influential vampire work of the early 19th century. However, it is Bram Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula that is remembered as the quintessential vampire novel and provided the basis of the modern vampire legend. The success of this book spawned a distinctive vampire genre still popular in the 21st century, with books, films, and television shows. The vampire has since become a dominant figure in the horror genre.